Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 176. So today is like my old Sundays. I've just moved it to Monday so people can join me there Sunday in America if they want to. Hopefully it's a better time. And Saturdays for UK and Europe people, because Robert joins me to talk about old UFO cases. So unfortunately, unless you're a night owl or early morning person, you may not join us on Robert's lives because of the time zone change. I'm just gonna kick off the intro, and I'll be with you in a minute. Hey, Renee, how's it going? Time to wake up. Probably be a few hours on this. Truth sounds like hate to those who hate the truth. Okay. It's a bit tricky reading out because of the feedback echo. So it's good to be back again for another live stream. Let me just stop that again. As it keeps on running forever, unfortunately. And choose up CPU. So there's the desktop. And we got Renee with us. How's it going? Let me just get everything going here. Gotta get the cushions right. Yeah, I just got out of a hot shower. Makes you feel a bit better. So, how's it going here? Yeah, it's a good beat on that track. I think it might be a German guy that wrote it, actually. They do a lot of what they call Eurobeat type music, 120 beats, or cool, groovy drum sounds. I find security team's music a bit grinding. That sort of hits you in the head when it starts off. It's super loud. So I'm just still waking up because I don't tend to go to bed till about 5 in the morning, and then I had to get up at 11 just to get ready for this. So yeah, probably talk about the crazy dream I had, or was it a crazy dream, and go around the world looking at UFO stuff and see if we can figure it out. My dream sounds like Martin Luther King, doesn't it? And video analysis. There's a few things to talk about, I guess. Usual channels promoting stuff without doing any research. So what time is it where you at, Rennie? Because I know you move around a bit. You might be the only one joining us. I think Robert said he was going to join me, but I think he's crashed. Now what's it in UK at the moment? About 2 in the morning. Yeah. So there's the alien greys. Creepy. So yeah, earlier in this week I had a dream that was not like a dream like I've had before, and I've talked about it to MUFON from ERT or MUFON, And he thinks I may have had a visitation from our friendly friends from space. So I'll go over the dream. It's a bit freaky. It sort of freaked me out for a few days after that, because all you do is think about dreams, especially the ones you remember. Normally I get woken up by some paranormal activity in the house. With things standing on the bed, mostly, or it feels like something standing on the bed. But you have to see a apparition to verify it. Almost, it really happens though. It happens like every 6 months I get something that happens, which is kind of odd. How's the audio? Is it working alright? Feedback here sounds good. 6:40. Oh, that's a good time for you then. Yes, this is what I do in my afternoons, because it suits people on the East Coast as well as the West Coast of America, because there's a 3-hour difference between each coast. John, he's probably in bed. Robert's probably in bed. I think John sent me a message on Discord just before I started, so he's obviously awake now or trying to drift off. I'm not too sure. And everybody sleeps at crazy times. They have trouble sleeping, then they sort of crash and then sleep for 18 hours or whatever it is. So I did type up some blurb of my dream when it happened. And I'll explain, but so I had my eyes checked at the hospital. It looks like I got a cataract that's growing over my lens in the left eye, which makes it blurry. So I got an operation coming up for that. And my right eye, the diabetes damage that was in it has repaired itself, and now the vision's almost 8/9 again. It used to be like 6/9, so that's good. And so I'm really down to one eye at the moment, so probably have to zoom in a bit more. So if I misread things, you know why. So I did post on Discord and Twitter some blurb, which has got some typos in it, of my thing of the dream I had. I wasn't going to tell people about it. I was just going to wait to see if it happened again. But I thought maybe I'd talk about it just to see if it relates to anybody out there. I can now understand why people think they've been abducted. Because I'm trying to wrap my head around what happened and trying to work out if it was real or not. Because it seemed like it was real. So I'll just bring up. So that's the thing. If you're going to do paranormal channels, you really need to have been lucky to see a UFO. I mean, a real UFO up close. No silly lights in the sky that's drifting. They're the really lucky people, and of course that changes their lives from that point onwards. Trying to wrap their head around it all the time to figure out what it was, whether it was man-made or really aliens, unless they're lucky enough to also see aliens, and that's where the abduction stuff comes in. So you can understand why some dreams can influence people, and they're not sure if it really happened or not. So even if you get hypnotized, still going to be the same. Is it a really vivid dream, or did it really happen? So probably need to first of all draw what I was layout of the bed when it happened and where I was. But still watch it. No, okay, that's right. People can always watch it offline. So let's see, can I draw a bed on this thing? Has it even got a bed? It might even have a bed. It needs more clip art. I don't know if you can get more clip art. Have we got anything? It looks like a bed. A mattress. 3D mattress would be good. 3D square. Can't see. Custom. Must be a way to add to that list, probably. Have to figure that out sometime. Well, can't see anything. It looks like a bed. Looks like I have to draw it the hard way. Okay. So eventually, it would be good to talk to people that had a abduction that other people have witnessed. Would be really good. How can I do a 3D bed though? Maybe that angle, maybe. Suppose I could do a crappy looking one. And some pillows. Yeah, try a different colour. Got to do that first, don't I? Pillows are white though. I'll go for blue ones. So, yes, you think more people would be interested in talking about abductions and sightings? Probably could get you to come on and talk if anyone wants to talk. So I've got a bed that's sort of about that. So I have lots of pillows though to prop up my back because I got back pain, especially lower back, and that's what the dream was a bit like. So how can I draw a person? I don't think I saw a person. I suppose I could get one from images, couldn't I? Just drop it on. Could do with the alien pictures there. Single alien I want. One that actually looked like the one I had. The ones I saw looked similar, but nothing close to these ones. Had bigger eyes. That one's looking a bit more like it. Wasn't like these ones, so too skinny in the head. That one's close, but had bigger eyes still. Yeah, I suppose I might have to draw alien separate. Or mix and match aliens. Now that one's not too bad. It could be close to it. Save that one. Okay, I need person sleeping on the side. The thing is, I've never had a dream about aliens ever until this week, so And yet I've been looking at alien stuff now every day pretty much for 3 years. Because I was a bit late to getting into the UFO stuff. Because we had regular jobs and all that sort of stuff. And when I lost my job, and I didn't do my part-time job anymore, I had plenty of time to spend on this stuff. Okay, you got the spine problem. Spina bifida. Oh, you got all sorts wrong with you, haven't you? Arthritis. Oh dear. You need to be like a Dalek, where they chop your head off and stick it into a little jar thing, into a robot body. I'm starting to feel that way too. Mind you, Todd Hugh, he's got arthritis. Unfortunately, you don't see him around anymore. Where are we going to get a picture of the right picture? Angle. These are all on the wrong side. Angle. Probably these ones here. That's not too bad. Could have been like that or like that. Let's save that. Save image. See, it's easy to explain once you got an image. Probably easier to pen and paper though. Okay. Fetal. Yeah, was it fetal or long? See. I don't know. I really don't know. Like I said, it was a really strange dream. Normally, when I have something happen, I can wake up straight away and hit the light, touch light on the bed, just to see if it's a home invasion or something, right? Which clearly it is, but by the paranormal kind. Let's see, new layer. So I have to scale them down and rotate. I don't think my legs are that far up, but probably down on more of a less of an angle. Of course, we need it transparent, don't we? Let's see if this is going to work. Look at that. I think I've got it all, have I? I wish the cursor would show up a bit better. It just seems to vanish, doesn't it? Normally I stick it on big like that. I just go in one hit. There we go. Okay, now we can get it right. Oop. That always screws up when you do that, doesn't it? Select. Oh. Layer. Where's the handle gone? See, that's a bug as far as I'm concerned. Makes it big there for some reason. instead of being a little box around where I drew. So it was probably like that in bed, but I had this image flatten it. Oh, hang on, it's starting to get too hot in here. I had to put the oil heater on a bit because it was a bit nippy. Okay, so I have like a queen size bed, and so I've got it all to myself, and normally I can only sleep on that particular side like that. My touch lamp's over this side, normally. Normally I'll stretch out diagonally, because you've got the whole bed to yourself sometimes. And because I had a gallbladder out, for some reason if I lay on the opposite side, I tend to get sickness in the morning. Strange. Obviously fluid builds up maybe in the tubes as they're coming out. And then if you lay on the other side, it always comes out into your stomach all night long. So, yeah. So how can I put a sheet over top? But if you can imagine me, I had this couple of pillows, extra pillows over here, which was, one was over my head a wee bit. And I had the sheets. So, I'll just draw it like transparent stuff. Select one. Okay, that's looking good. Pillow. So I had a pillow over my head. Was it filled in? Should be filled in. What's going on here? Or is it filling it in? Is that a bug? I know, I just updated it. Shouldn't be filling it in. Not too much new bug. It's gotta be. Can't see anything I've touched. What's that one there? Razor. No, it's not. Something's going wrong here. So I did the layers. Let's just save that then. And reload it in. Come on. Let's see why. It's going a bit slow for some reason. Yeah, I just don't like updating stuff because you never know it's going to go wrong, do we? You think it's going to improve it. Often it doesn't. That's the same with Windows. Yeah, so it's still playing up. Damn it. Still playing up. I didn't click anything, did I? Solid color. I think I'm going to close and reopen it. Hang on. Try again. Yeah, we're in business. Ah, right, I know what I did. I had it set to paintbrush width being so big that it actually looks like it's a fill. Duh! Alright, so, well, at least you learn how to do paint with me. So I had a pillow over my head because I get a draft because it's cold over here at the moment. Although it's finally, what the hell's going on now? But it was sort of not lined up properly. Well, that's when I went to bed, it was like that. Slightly on top of my head. Over the ear, stopped the noise. Okay, why is it suddenly moved? Okay. And then I got the sheet over top of me. Well, actually a quilt. But I had it pulled right over my eyes there as well. So I just had a breathing hole pretty much. So, yeah, basically I went to bed fairly late as usual. I think it was about 3:15 in the morning. And I was laying on the opposite side to start with, and my leg over the quilt because it was getting a bit too hot. I couldn't relax because I had the heater on and it got too hot in the room, and I can't sleep if it's too hot. And I had this annoying buzzing in the ear, like a buzz. But I normally have buzzing in my ear because I got tin ear, as they say, from where the hairs in the eardrum get damaged from loud sound. And it happened when I went to a nightclub and the DJ tuned up the speaker to maximum volume almost, and it blew my ear in my right eardrum, and I couldn't hear for probably 5 hours before it started coming right. And ever since I've had this high frequency sound in my ear. It's a bit hard to explain it. It's that the very high frequency spectrum, though, rather than the low spectrum. A low hum would drive you crazy. It's like a higher frequency sound. It's always there, but you can block it out. You notice it more if you wear a headset, like I'm currently doing now. And did I type my welcome message here? I think I did. Yeah, I did. And so I think I fell asleep fairly quickly on this side here, and I got this lower back pain. Let me just draw an arrow where it was. Oh, I forgot about that. You got to click off it first for some reason. There you go. And need the arrow, that's right. Go for that one there. Different colour. It's not the best, is it? Red. So I've got a back pain, mostly in the lower back here. But I woke up, well, I seem to think I woke up a wee bit out of sleep, deep sleep. And it felt to me like a stabbing pain further up. It was the worst pain I ever had, which is kind of strange. So I had another pain further up here, more in the middle of the back, and it was so bad. Normally when it happens, I normally wake up and turn or reposition myself. And so I tried to, I moved and the cushion come off my head here, this one up here that I had over the top of my head. And I could see this alien grey. Now, he was actually under the cover. He was actually lifted up this cover here. Or he pulled back the cover maybe. And I couldn't move. All I could do is turn my head slightly this way. And I was looking this way. Slightly, you know, how you twist your neck. And you can't move your body, but you can move your neck and head. And you can actually, I was actually looking straight into its eyes. And it was like these big, huge black eyes, but like this is why the dream felt so real. But there's a lot more to it yet, so I'll try and explain it as I go. So it was like one of these dudes here. I can't say if it was a sack match. You'd think I look at enough alien drawings that I could say, yep, all these are a perfect match, but they're not. That's the problem. How can we cut that out? Don't think it's going to work with that. It's not a magic marker, as it's called. You can see the bits that it highlights where it would get erased. I might just have to cut out the head bit. Let's get it down. It's very much like this guy here. It's very, very close to what I saw, from what I remember anyway. But it was like he was crawling on the bed and looking straight at me. This one, and he had a big, huge needle. Would have been 10 inches long needle, and he was jabbing it in the back where the extra pain was, which was really weird dream, I tell you. So just post it here. Let's see what I can do with it. Post. Keep size. So it's probably going to more to represent where they were, more than getting the drawing perfectly right. But yeah, the head's obviously not going to be that big, is it? Slightly bigger than my own, but more round, obviously. So this guy was pretty much, it almost looked like he had the cover over top of his head. I don't know. I'm not too sure, because it was a bit hazy, and it was like you had been drugged, right? And you drifted in and out of a deep sleep. So I turned my head and saw this guy here, and I saw his skinny hand and arm with this huge needle. Now, let's see if I can find a needle. It looks like what I was talking about. So, how do we draw an arm on this guy? So that guy was there. He slept. it's almost like his body was going this way. What can we do for that colour? Purple. And he was on the bed somehow. And he had his arm or arms with the needle. And the needle was horrendous looking. Let's see if I can find a needle. With long. What do you call it? What do you call the metal thing? Shaft? That's not how you spell shaft. Yeah, that was not too far. I hate needles because I got to inject myself every day and it hurts with insulin. I suppose you got to type in syringe, I suppose. Well, I'll tell them what I've experienced anyway, and we'll analyse at the end, and maybe other people come forward with their similar stories, who knows. So, syringe. Considering I'm a skeptic, and I'm more skeptic than I am believer, so probably 70% skeptic, 30% believer, and Robert's more probably 80% believer and 20% skeptic. So here's syringes, but I couldn't actually see the rest of the handle that he was holding. I could only see him for probably, wasn't very long, about 10 seconds I think it was. So syringes there, but they haven't got really long needles. But I think you know what I mean anyway. Something like that, but with a needle twice as long. Well, let's see, maybe I can save it. Is it working? Yep. It's a little bit slow for some reason. Let's see. Port from file. Does it save as a transparent? Unfortunately. So this is where they should have the brush width for a razor being separate, I think. So the needle, I forgot about that as well. To be slit. Does it move? Oh yeah, looks like we've got a bit at the bottom still. Yeah. Why is it not working? Drawing takes a long time, doesn't it? Oh yeah, there's the needle. I suppose in scale it's about right. So yeah, he was sticking where the arrow was there. Obviously on the angle that he's holding it. Where's the handles gone? and I can tell you it was like the pain like I've never had before. It was like someone was doing it for real, like a spinal tab. What do you call it? Tap. Got too many arrows in the way there now. So it's like that. You can't see it very well because of the background. So what I did is I couldn't move. I was like sleep paralysis, but I knew it wasn't sleep paralysis because I could normally break out of that quite quickly because I've had it before. But what I did is I managed to get my arms and hands moving. This anything I could get moving plus my head. I don't think I was meant to wake up if it was a real thing. So what I did is this arm here, I managed to bend it around and grab the syringe, if you could imagine that, on the angle here. And I was trying to force it away, trying to stop him pushing it in. And I tried to pull up the cover then with this other arm, like it was slightly under the pillow. So I moved it out here and tried to punch the quilt upwards off me so I could see better. So it was over here, so I wanted to push it this way. So we're only talking about seconds of thinking here, because you're doing reaction. It's that flight or fight response, as they call it. And as I was trying to see if there was any light in the room, and it was pitch black though. It was still pitch black, but what strange thing was that the aliens seemed to be vivid colour, like their eyes seemed super glossy black, and the skin seemed to almost glow, like these undersea fish. Like the skin was like a grey, green, blue colour. It sort of had I wouldn't say it was like a battleship grey. That was more colourful skin. It was like these deep sea fish, but they sort of radiated the light from their skin. From what I remember, they may have had some sort of like LED source, or like a neck light or a headlight of some kind, which I didn't notice. But deep sea jelly. Let's see if we can find a picture of one. Because normally they say dreams are black and white, which is nonsense, because all my dreams are always in colour. But in this particular case, the colour was more vivid than colour itself. It's a bit hard to explain. It's like putting a setting on your LCD screen, I suppose. Vivid colours, where it sort of amps it up. A bit like that. So it sort of gave off white, and it sort of had this green blue bits in the grey of the skin. But it's hard to explain it. But this one was more grey than the other one I saw, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So I'm just trying to see if I can find one of these deep sea jellyfish that glow. So that's sort of like it there, grey, green, sort of glowing, like almost like they had that sort of fluorescent bioluminescent bacteria or whatever they use, or chemicals in the skin to turn on a glowing thing. I suppose that would be handy, if you were like a night creature, because the big guys would make sense that they might be actually from the deep sea. And if you had glow skin, you could actually be like a self-illuminated torch, right? You wouldn't need to carry a torch with you. So I just wonder if aliens can do that. They can turn on their internal light system to see in the dark, which kind of makes sense. That's the first time I've actually heard of anything like that. It's in my dream. maybe they were trying to communicate me. Maybe it wasn't a real thing that was happening, but I was being led that it was actually a dream of a dream, so to speak. So yeah, just can't find exactly what I'm looking for at this stage. I thought it might be easy to find it. Like I said, I haven't forgotten about this dream ever since. It sort of twists your mind around, trying to get your head around what actually, was it real, was it not? So a bit like that, really. Blue, greens, grey skin. It's like internal torch. So this one definitely wasn't as glowy as the one, because when I was lifting up trying to get the quilt off, in probably the 2 minutes that I was awake, I managed to bump it up, and as I did that I was looking, and I saw another alien grey, which I didn't copy that one, standing right next to the bed here. That one was just like in a deep stare at me, and he seemed to be the one that was controlling me not moving somehow. I don't know if he was doing it with his eyes or mind, but it was kind of weird. It was totally weird. So I'll just post that one there. Another one. But he obviously was looking the other way. But I'll just put him as a placemaker. So he was looking towards me here, standing here, and it would have been, let's see, I'm probably two or so feet above the ground on the bed here. So he would have been 1 to 2 feet higher. So he would have been like 3 to 4 feet. Probably all I could really say about that. But this one was like a jellyfish there. His skin was like really glowing, and there was no light in the room, and he sort of stood out, and he was staring at me with a blank stare, straight at me, and I simply just gave up holding the needle and gave in, and the pain got incredibly bad as the needle was going in further, and I passed out, and that's all I remember of that whole experience. And I sort of slept, woke up the next morning to about 8 or 9 in the morning, and at first the dream didn't come back to me. It's a bit weird having a dream of a dream, that you fell asleep. And all I had in the dream after that was this repeating thing of this, looked like a miniature alien head stuck onto a tube. And I had this repeating dream after when I passed out, that I had this in my hand, like I was holding the needle, before, because I let go. And I'm not too sure if I whacked the alien in the head for one last time or something, or something happened before I passed out, and all I had was this repeating thing of this alien head on a tube, a little fine tube, which made no sense, and it was driving me crazy. It just went round and round in circles, this repeating thing. That's all I remember for the rest of the night. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else has had that exact experience where you've actually had aliens operate on you in your own bed and take control of your own bed or not. But I've never ever dreamt about aliens before. And the strange thing is, my back pain, when I got up in the morning, normally I scream out in pain, was totally gone. I had no more back pain. And I thought that was really strange, because I've had it for probably a couple of years now, gradually getting worse. And so I got up to go to the toilet. The first thing you do in the morning is go to the toilet. And I sat down on the edge of the bed, come back, sat on the edge of the bed, and the dream started coming back to me about the aliens. And I thought, wow, that was crazy last night. And I felt a wee bit tired, but I was actually not too badly rested. It was crazy. So I told Earl about it, and okay, pigging out on food, good. I told Earl from MUFON, ERT, about this dream, and he ran me through the process, like he was interviewing me, like one of his cases. And he said he can't get over my dream. He said he thinks I had a visitation. I said, go on with you. It's just a crazy dream that I've been looking at too many UFO videos in the night or something. So he said, did you have any ringing in your ear? And I said, yes, I've always got ringing in my ears. Oh, hang on. There was an extra ringing in my ear that was driving me crazy. He says, oh, well, that's one of the signs that some of the abductees say. They always hear a buzzing or a ringing in the ear before they get abducted. And I thought, wow, that's just crazy. And I'll just stick that one down there. So he was standing outside the bed. So that was one of the things on the checklist for him. And I said about them having like this glowing skin, like the colour was more vibrant than normal in life, and maybe because it was night time and they were sort of glowing and it sort of enhanced their colours. And he said, oh, that's interesting. And he said, oh, let me know if the pain on the back comes back. And of course, my pain in the back has been eased off quite a lot. In recent days it come back because I jumped down from a van and the shooting pain went up my back again, and I started getting back pain again. So they didn't cure me if it's a real thing with the operation, but maybe they had some way of numbing the pain for a few days after or something. And what were they doing? Were they trying to help me? That's kind of crazy dream to have. So yeah, I thought you might enjoy that anyway. So I'll just save that as record, I suppose. But it does help you to talk about these things. I understand it now, and why people want to go into regression to see if they can figure out whether it was a dream or if they can recall any more facts. But I'll let you know if anything else like that happens. As you know, I always talked about the strange paranormal stuff where the lights turn on and like I feel like I'm being watched, and you get cold spots in the house. I'll compare it to my original story anyway, because I've retold it here. And correct this grammar, or this typos. So what I said after a few hours as I wrote this up, I did not talk to anyone, is what I meant to say there, till now. What happened last night? But I had the weirdest dream that wasn't like any dream I had before. I semi-woke up, or did I, to see an alien trying to insert a big needle with a tube to my spine. Typical grey with black eyes. Was under my bed sheets. Laugh out loud. I was on my side and I was fighting it off with left arm. All I could get working, and I was in right pain with the back. With the other arm, I lifted up the quilt, as was head slightly under it, and was like temperature -2 that night. To see a small grey staring at me, it looked too real in vision. There must have been some light as the room would have been black. Big black eyes, blue-grey skin, and the height of the bed would make it about 3 foot tall. Well, actually, it could be 4 foot. It was one entity that somehow controlled me in not moving, lower body and legs. And then I gave in with the arm, and the needle goes in super more painful, as I suffer from back pain normally, and the rest fades away. But I start dreaming me holding a tube that had a small shaped alien head on it, and the dream went into a loop endlessly. Totally weird. I woke up in the morning and recall it going over and over in the head all day, making sense of it. Oddly, my back pain has been best for ages, and that almost was gone. F me. I couldn't scream either. Yeah, I couldn't even make any sound. Couldn't scream, yell out. I couldn't scream either. Funny arms could move. So I managed to get the arms and neck moving, but was weak. Yeah, I wasn't as strong as I normally was. So I can understand, how you got Daryl Sims says you should have a shotgun to shoot the aliens if they try and abduct you, have it near your bed. But if they can control you that much, even in a dream, you ain't gonna move, and you feel very weak. You're powerless, almost like a date rape drug, I suppose. I'm going to have to stop watching UFO alien TV shows before bed, probably. I can get it was a brain playing tricks, how some folks can believe. That's what I said there. Either funny arms, either. I must be. Let's see. The arms could move a little. I think going to have to stop watching. That's what I said in the last page. Where do I get to? Folks can believe something happened, but I would myself still need physical evidence or a second person in the house to verify the event. Yeah, because you just don't know if it's your mind. I've not heard of other cases of aliens working on victims in their own bed, or was it? Was I actually in my own bed? I think I was, because I lifted up the sheet and it felt like a normal bed. So I wasn't like transported to another bed on the ship or anything like that in this particular weird dream, or was it? I can't be sure. I might have to see. I might have to set up a security camera, is what I meant to say there. See if I can set up a security camera in bedroom and just keep things recorded. So yeah. So that's my crazy dream. Now, in the past, I've had dreams that have come true, but I don't have those anymore, so I'm not too sure why. But you normally get glimpses of warnings of things that are going to come in the future to try and avoid. I'll just keep those two images. I deleted my thumb, have I? Stupid Paul, deleted the wrong one. That's alright, I can get it from the recycle bin. Yeah. Let's see it on the other screen. I got it back. Clean up the recycle bin now. Hey, so then moving on to the other topics, I suppose. Not that anyone's joining us. I think Renee is you still there, Renee? So just need to get a drink. So which one do I go for first? Oh yeah, that one's quite good. What's that about? Oh right, I was going to talk about the ant people. Come back to that one. Which is kind of similar to aliens. Ant people are what the Indian tribes in America were talking about. They had a visitation from the ant people. I suppose I could talk about them next, actually. So we'll go to this one here. What year was that one? 2016. I'll see if I can get it to read out while I have a drink.
Apocalypse Now. Native American tribe predicts comet will destroy Earth in the near future. And so far their predictions have been terrifying accurate.
Have they? Doesn't take too much to predict a meteorite storm coming to Earth every year, because they're regular ones that happen. Hey, how's it going? Katerina. I make it second time, I guess. Oh, you just missed out my alien dream story, or maybe an alien visitation. We're not too sure about it. It was crazy. I'm not sure if you watched it or not. I tried to explain it. Like I said, it was only like drifting in and out of a almost like a sleep, and I couldn't move. So yeah, that moves us on to the ant people. Talk about ancient stuff, which I assume people have passed it on from person to person, and obviously, as you know, stories tend to get embellished or things changed over the years. The Indians, they didn't really have a written language. They had like pictograms, didn't they, and drawing.
The Hopi tribe believes the world has been destroyed a number of times before, and says we are now living in the fourth world.
So what they mean by destroyed is like the dinosaurs got wiped out by a meteorite impact. And of course everybody starts over again, right? So it's like if we get wiped out now, all our technology will probably be in the dustpan for thousands of years at least, until we have enough people that understands what level and how to use the machines, or make the machines that make the machines all over again, because I certainly wouldn't know how to make a computer chip. I suppose most of us out there don't. You might understand the basics of it, but you need robots to make it now, I suppose, with spraying on. They spray the components, I guess. I don't really know how it all works. That's the thing. Maybe we need to do some research on it and do an episode on how a silicon chip's made. Why didn't you talk about your take on the subject? Talk about what? I'm not sure I understand. Elaborate. So, Hopi. Hopi tribe. Let's see what we can find out about them. Hopi tribe. We've got some pictures. So they lived in these caverns in the hill, I believe. So they've got houses there. Not the usual teepees, is it? Which is quite interesting. That's some. Where's the houses into the hill? Is that it? Some of them. I think. Hopi tribe. But there's a mountain range which goes right into the hillside like a big cave, and they built these little houses. Looks like from bricks or mud bricks into the hillside. Maybe because they're thinking about meteorite shower coming down destroying, they thought they might be safe inside a cave, inside a mountain. So what language did they have? Obviously they lived off the land, animals, but did they grow corn? A bit like South Americans. Here's a picture here. And here I was trying to get. Prophecies of the Hopi Indians. I didn't think they liked their picture taking because it captures their soul. So I wonder if they had any written language, or was it just like the Egyptian language? Hopi tribe, written language. So I want to know how they know about their legends, whether it's passed down word by word or actually written. Okay, what do we got here? Hopi to a Uto-Antaskian language spoken by the Hopi people, Arizona, but some Hopi are now monolingual English speakers. The use of Hopi has gradually declined over the course. Okay. So, what did the Mayans have? We've got an E-I-O-U. Spoken language. Nasal. So that's spoken. How about written? Written. Hopi is written using the Latin alphabet. But that's influence of their language, though, isn't it? That's how it's evolved to. We want to know what was the earliest writing, really. Hopi is a Uto-Aztecian language, Aztecs, spoken in northeastern Arizona. Yeah, what written language? Doesn't say written. Oh, okay. Someone out there might know more about it. but we'll leave it there, I guess. We'll just carry on with the story here. I better catch up with side chat. What do we do? Why didn't you talk about your take on the UFO phenomenon or anything else? Reason for making this channel? I thought people knew what my reason was. And the reason I started the channel, I was always interested in UFOs, especially after seeing probably Lost in Space and sci-fis on TV to start with, and thinking about life in space, what the meaning of life is, a bit like the usual thing, and trying to get your head around, is there a God, and do I go to church, or do I bother doing that at all and just take my own path, all that sort of stuff as you do as you grow up. My parents were open to let me decide for myself. So yeah, it was when we had the famous 1977, or was it 78? 78 sighting of the big Korkora lights, and I thought, this is fascinating stuff. Almost looks like it might be real aliens making contact with Earth finally, and it's finally going to go worldwide public. But before then, I was reading magazines and articles on UFO stuff, because there wasn't too much on TV, really, on that sort of stuff. Early TV was mostly BBC stuff and black and white and old 50s sci-fis and stuff like that. So the magazines I got through the post, which I've shown some of those magazines in episodes, and I was meant to get back and go through more of those old paranormal and UFO cases in the books. But yeah, so I always had an interest in UFOs, and I started recording documentaries on it and stored on VHS tape when VHS tape come out, and re-watching it, and yeah, probably like most people, right? So, and then I heard about YouTube and YouTube for years, and I thought, now I don't want to waste my time going there, because when I looked, it was all like crazy videos, like people pulling stunts and very poor quality videos and all that sort of stuff, and I thought, no, I'm not interested in that. But there was some UFO channels obviously started up, like Third Phase of the Moon and all that, which I hadn't heard about, and it wasn't until I got an email saying, have a look at this video, and it was one from Secure Team talking about P69 comet hidden towards Earth, and that NASA got new pictures of so-called structures on it and all this sort of stuff, and he had a secure email from someone, and I thought, oh yeah, this sounds interesting, I wonder if it's true, and are we going to hear more on TV about it soon? And of course that story never got updated from Secure Team, from the people that leaked, a whistleblower that leaked these photos, and I've become a bit more suspect with time, because I started subbing to him, and he had a lot of these type ones where he had people sent him stuff via secure email, and he never showed the email with bits blacked out like you do with FOIA requests, from FBI and whatnot. And I thought, that's a bit strange, and he hasn't got anyone interviewed with their voice cloaked, and live footage of them talking on Skype with their faces blurred out or whatever, and I thought, that's kind of strange. You'd think you'd better get some interviews with some of the stuff he was putting up. So I thought I'd look more into it, and then I found out that it was actually faking stuff, and I thought I'm going to start up my own channel and start doing proper UFO research and put it up on YouTube, all the stuff that I'm interested in, and expose all the fake videos out there and stuff. And I started learning how to do video analysis and using the tools, self-training. And I just got better and better at it. I was really bad when I started my channel. I wasn't really good at analyzing stuff. And using the search engine to find stuff I could do, but I got better and better at using some of the advanced search features to narrow stuff down. So really, I started the channel to really take the UFO topic seriously for once, because everything that I could see online was sensationalized, and it would look like it was for making money for their own pocket, and they weren't really interested in the topic. They were saying they were, but they weren't. And I thought, well, I'm just going to do this, and if I make money from it, that will go into the channel to make it better. I'll get some cameras and have live cameras and have that in the background while we're doing the live streams, and we might see if some planes or whatever flies overhead and zoom in. So I thought I was going to go that direction, and if I made a lot of money, I would be able to get off my sickness assistance. Because once you earn too much, they cut it back anyway. So you either have to earn no more than 100 a week, or you got to earn pretty much a year's income to be able to do it full time. So it gets a bit tricky. So I decided I'm not going to worry too much about money and focus more on the content, which is basically what I'm doing. I'm still putting out content, finding stuff to talk about, and I've met a few good people for it. Earl from MUFON, which I talk to daily in California there, well, pretty much every week anyway. At the moment, he's been pretty busy. Then, who's my favourite researchers? Well, lately, probably the Black Vault guy seems to be the most skilled person at researching some of the FBI stuff, the releases. But I think he gets some stuff wrong because he's not technically expert like I am. I've got a couple of degrees in technology, and so I've got the skill sets. These guys are more, what do you call it, media studies, communication studies type people, where they're good at hosting and chatting, which is not really my thing. That's the thing I sort of struggled with, was being a presenter. But I did do teaching in university, so I could stand up in front of classes and teach and keep it to laypersons so everybody can understand it. And had a wee bit of artist skill to it, and I looked after CAD/CAM and all that sort of stuff, all these technical drawing applications. But I never used them myself, but I understood how they worked and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, who's my best people in the UFO field at the moment? Well, I'm pretty disappointed with most of them, apart from the Black Vault guy. He's got at least a critical mind on things. A lot of people are really driven by money. You got Open Minds, it's all about money. You got Secure Team, it's all about money. You got Third Phase of the Moon. They're just taking the piss, really, and to make money for themselves. Those two are basically actors. You can find them on trying to make movies and stuff. And they've been caught out faking stuff before, acting it out, like a skinwalker in Philippines or whatever it was. So they're the people that I find making a mockery of the UFO field. So we had to look for something better. We have to take control back and actually focus on the real stories. Not everything in the sky is UFOs. In fact, I think when they abduct people, they obviously are going to be cloaked, right? And they're going to be hovering over I've got this niggle in the throat. It's really annoying me. They hover over your house, and yeah, I need a drink. They hover over the house, obviously cloaked, and no one even notices them, and you never get it on security camera. And they have like a beam of light that allows them to teleport downwards like a lift, I guess, through the roof. Somehow it turns the house into jello, and they can sort of just go straight down through it and into the bedroom. So it doesn't matter if you've got locks or dogs. Hang on, just need a good cough. Yeah, that's the problem with a dog. When you go walking out in the night time from a hot house into the freezing cold, you get these lung infections, and it takes ages to get rid of it again. So I've had this niggle in the throat for a few months now. Richard Dolan, I think he used to be good until he met his wife. And I think now he's bamboozled, he's love-struck, and he's promoting hoaxes and working with hoaxes, like Jimmy Church, he's also working with hoaxes. Linda Moulton Howe, never liked her. I always thought her research was very average at best, and she's easy, believes everything she's told. So I never took anything seriously, especially when I started looking at some of the cases where she's talking about automatic software download. When you look at some writing on these what they're called, these UFOs that look like springs in the sky, what were they called? Dragonfly UFO story. They were actually fabricated with CGI photographs. A guy claimed to photograph them hovering over the house or flying past, and they had these strange symbols on it, and she was saying it was human-made technology, as well as alien technology or whatever. And when you looked at the special code underneath, it meant something. It had some crazy, I don't know, futuristic letter A and E's and all that sort of stuff printed on it. You'd have to look at the picture to see what I mean. So when I realised that she'd been caught by this con artist, and then I read about Richard Doty had conned her as well with some leaked documents, I thought, nah, can't believe anything that's coming from Linda Howe anymore. And of course then I saw that she was quite religious too, and then she started talking about stargates to Mars and pyramids under the Arctic and all that sort of stuff with no proof. So Dragonfly UFO. Once I get a picture of it, I'll get back to the Hopi in a minute. Dragonfly. Stop coming up. Dragonfly. Is it one or two words? I think it's one word, isn't it? Here we go, this thing here. So this was actually a CGI. They added it onto the background there. Looks very convincing. But they took this one here, the famous one, where they got the power lines. Because they do this to prove that it's a real craft, right? They put it over some complex foreground images with the cables running through. But you can do that with CGI. If you I think even the telephone pole was CGI'd, even though it looks like it's a real power line. It just shows how well computer images can be. But anyway, they worked out, they got the shading on the sun, they worked out the direction of the sun here, was over here, and some guy actually built a scale model of the whole thing, and including well, he didn't actually need the power line, but I think he may have included it. But he found that the shadows underneath didn't match, that it was actually artificial lighting, which you get with CGI. So there's all these different other ships that come out here from the same guy, and kind of looks strange, doesn't it? It's like something that with humans would make, a bit like Townsend Brown research, where you got ion generators with metal coming down here, generates a field that lifts it up. Anyway, she covered that one. Here's another one, passing trees. I think they run that through some image processing and found that the tree disappeared when you dimmed down the lighting way before the craft does, which means that the image was inserted behind the tree through editing. A lot of experts looked at it various ways. So I suppose it kind of looks like a dragonfly because of the body here and the long bit on the end here. I don't know if you knew about the dragonfly or not, but there you go. It's a fairly old case now. Well, I've covered all that in the previous lives about Bob Lazar. Go and watch my videos. Grant Cameron, no, he's just a whack job, I'm afraid. He believes in everything he's told. And also, he's part of this leak on alien autopsy currently going on. And the UFO leak of the century. I'm sure they're passionate about the UFO field, but they're easily conned, and they sort of come out with some wacky stuff. Like he said that aliens were dropping bits off the off the UFOs as like a disclosure, right? To say they were here. So little bit by little bit, the debris will add up, the metamaterials. But a lot of that stuff turns out to be stuff that falls off planes. Stuff apparently falls off passenger jets and stuff. When the wheels of the doors come down underneath, there could be bits and pieces that fall out. Tube and plastic and bits can break off the wing. There's all sorts of things that you don't know breaks off planes, which is kind of scary. That's why they have regular maintenance. And of course you got people stow away inside the landing gear as well, apparently in some places. Bob Lazar's story, no, I don't believe Bob. 20% of the story that he has is true, could be verified, but I don't. There's a lot of errors, and he's changed his story over the years. Anyway, depends how old you are, whether you're new to Bob Lazar or not. But he's like 30 or 40 years old now, isn't he? That story, 80s. Yeah. But that's what I do, is I point out what's fake to people on these lives anyway. So, and also at the moment I'm talking about real stuff, the Native Americans. So they talk about ant people, so let's see. We'll move on.
They claim the world will soon end again with a blue star crashing into Earth. Terrifyingly, the tribe's predictions up until now have been pretty accurate. The ancient group have successfully foreseen the 2010 Gulf oil spill, the creation of the internet, and the conquest of North America. Their legend also tells how the tribe entered Earth through a portal based at the Grand Canyon, with the help of ant-like alien beings. Legend suggests Elder Whitefeather of the ancient Hopi and Bear clan predicted the following events, which lead up to the apocalypse. 1. We are told of the coming of white-skinned men, the European discovery of America. 2. Our lands will see the coming of spinning wheels filled with voices, the conquest of North America. 3. A strange beast like a buffalo but with great long horns will overrun the land in large numbers, the introduction of cattle grazing.
But they had buffalo. Looks no different than other animals that we eat. So there's not really much predictions there, really, is it? The internet. Foresee the internet. Well, communication has been around for a while. The internet's just the extension of our communication. Conquest of North America, I suppose wouldn't take too much to work that out. Especially if they see people coming from boats and jumping onto the shore, right? They know there's going to be more come. Once you see a few, and a few go back and tell the others, you know they're going to get more people come. So, yeah, I suppose you see a big ship out to sea, and a few boats row into shore. You could kill those ones so they don't swim back and tell everybody, but then the people on the big ship know, and then they sail away and get more resources, more men, and then come back again. So that's not really a prediction as far as I'm concerned. Gulf War spill, I'm not too sure where that one comes from in the legend, because they haven't expanded it here. So yeah, it would be good to research more into this, I guess, and do a proper research into the Hopi people. Because you get it on Ancient Aliens, and they sort of they spin their own yarn to it and add in their own facts which are wrong, and their own interpretation. So how would you interpret that picture there, right, on a cave drawing? So what's it say underneath?
The tribe's legend tells how the tribe entered Earth through a portal based at the Grand Canyon, with the help of ant-like alien beings. Credit Getty Images.
Getty Images. So I guess that's the ant, and that's the portal. So what's this in the hand here? Looks like a drum. Obviously it looks like mantis type hands. So suppose the mantis kind of looks like an ant. And what's this thing over here? Another ant person? Doesn't look the same, does it? Kind of strange. Almost looks like a dream, doesn't it? Someone's painted their dream on the wall. What's this over here? A tree? Looks like a tree. Kind of weird. Or is this thing holding this here? And something here? Could that be like a drum and a thing to bang it on? And that looks like a thing when they go around their head, you know how they got the palms and the head, the palm thing sticking out. Let's see. more like Amazon headdress. Let's see. It's good trying to figure out the drawings though. People see what they want to see in them, I guess. I suppose it could be feathers like that on a normal Indian too, couldn't it? Where is it again? Although it doesn't look like a normal feathers, you think they're about to draw a bit better than that, you know? I think most people could draw better than that Indian headdress. See, I've always said my theory about ancient aliens, that Egyptians had airships, and they wore all sorts of crazy things like this, right? They had eagle heads and various animals carved, and they talk about what do you call it? Sky dogs and birdmen. And if you remember, they've got eagles. I can't get the Amazon that I wanted, so it's not Amazon. Oh, here we go. That looks more like an Amazon headdress. Oh, that's the African one. But I was thinking more of like green palm leaves sticking out. And not palm leaves, what do you call them? Ferns? You probably know what I mean. But yes, so if they had airships and they floated across with the slipstream, I've talked about this one before, called airships. And the Great Pyramids had water underneath them, and all they had to do was put in the flow it into channels with certain types of metal like copper and zinc, and it would actually create enough voltage to split water into hydrogen and oxygen, and over a period of time it would build up, and it would go the heavy hydrogen would be at the highest level, which would go into the king's chamber, which is the highest chamber on the pyramid, and it could collect there, and all the heavier gas would be in the queen's chamber, and they had these vents that went out to the side. So I talk about this in my episode here about ancient ships, and why was the pyramids, these pyramid shapes, always in where the slipstreams that went around the world, which was Asia, India, Mexico, and South America, and Egypt, and some other places in Africa, I think, as well. So, ancient airships. So I actually do put a wee bit of information into that one, and also there was Easter Island. And Easter Island talk about these ships coming down with birdmen in them, gods from the sky, right? And of course that's part of where the slipstream is, where it would happen. And of course they would have boats underneath. So if the hydrogen punctured or in the thing that was holding them up, they would simply come down, land on land or in the sea, and they could then just row to shore. So they wouldn't be killed, you know. Makes total sense, you know. So you got airships. Well, let's see, Egyptian. And of course, if they landed in Hopi territory, right, from one of these airships, they would say they were coming through a portal, maybe, and strange looking headdresses on them which look like ant people or something, you know. Egyptian doesn't have to be related to alien greys whatsoever. It just might be their interpretation. So we might have a mixture of things happening. Can't even spell Egyptian. E. There we go. I've talked about it before here. So these are all the headdresses. So where's the one with the eagle? So you got the long skulls as well, right? They may have tried to make. They might have thought their heads were long because of this. The headdresses that they had. Yeah, not like that. They may have shaped the skulls after meeting Egyptians from airships. Sort of kind of fits, really, when you think about it. And then you got ones that look like eagle heads. Where are the eagle heads? You got ones with the pointy ears, and I just saw that on there before. Look at that, pointy ears. Could see that sort of thing, right? Where's the eagle head? Or the dog head. There's an eagle head as well. Eagle. Oh, there's the bird head, right? Got these bird things on to look like birds. Maybe I should type bird instead. Oh, there we go. That's the thing I'm talking about here with the strange, the bird headdress, eagle headdress, like this here. Here we go. You see what I mean? If they had some form of hydrogen airships, they may have stumbled across hydrogen splitting and made the Great Pyramid like a collection, like a machine to actually make it and collect it over years, and then they can simply tap it off into maybe silk things, like bags, and then join them all together, right? So basically little balloons where they then add it into a bigger balloon, and found it lifted up the people, or the boat they had underneath. Because I kind of think that UFO phenomenon is more, since we had nuclear testing, maybe it opened up a rift in, what do you call it, a rift in the dimensions where allowed them to detect us and then work out a way to come through a portal into our thing. So still, it doesn't rule out that this is coming through like a portal, another dimension. But I'm just throwing things out there to make you think about it, same way I do. Fascinating stuff, of course. So things are not always black and white, but somewhere in between, right? So I think it's fascinating myself. I'm not sure if you like that. Well, once you eat a lot of stuff, you'll be super tired, I find, once you eat, and you have a little sleep. So, what are they saying here? They got other things here they predicted. So let's just go through the list. Oh, we got a big storm here. It's raining. Lucky enough, I've replaced all my UPSs in the house, so hopefully we'll be okay. Power supplies when the power cut happens.
4. The land will be crossed by snakes of iron, the creation of railways. 5. The land shall be crisscrossed by a giant spider's web, the creation of the World Wide Web. 6.
Right.
The The land shall be crisscrossed with rivers of stone that make pictures in the sun, highways and roads. 7. You will hear of the sea turning black, and many living things dying because of it, the 2010 Gulf oil spill. 8. You will see many youth, who wear their hair long like my people, come and join the tribal nations, to learn their ways and wisdom, the counterculture hippie movement of the 60s and 70s. 9. You will hear of a dwelling place in the heavens, above the earth, that shall fall with a great crash. It will appear as a blue star. Very soon after this, the ceremonies of my people will cease. Some suggest the blue star may be a satellite re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. Eerily, it could coincide with the Chinese Tiangong 1- a blue satellite predicted to crash back to Earth sometime this year or next, causing a major disaster. The satellite reportedly lost contact with mission control in July, which could mean the end of the Earth is imminent. Survival could come down to belief in the ant people the tribe believes in. Cave paintings in the Grand Canyon and Egypt show ant-like creatures who helped the Hopi tribe survive on a number of occasions.
So, not too sure what you believe of those predictions anyway. Kind of laughable, some of them. So obviously this was 2016. So obviously the Chinese satellite didn't crash back down. But I don't think that would cause too much of a problem anyway. It just burn up. What we've got to be careful of is these big rocks that apparently plow into the sun. We're seeing several of them hit the sun and create a flame at the back of the sun. But they get absorbed into the sun itself and become part of the sun fusion process, I guess. Land would be crisscrossed with rivers of stone. They reckon that's going to be highways and roads. I think the giant spider web thing doesn't make any sense. Creation of the World Wide Web. The land shall be crisscrossed by giant spider web. That sounds more like roads to me, rather than anything there. The spider web. And that's the second part to it here. Rivers of stone that make pictures in the sun. That make pictures in the sun. Rivers of stone. I reckon that sounds more like bridges, going across rivers. Rivers of stone. Make pictures in the sun. It doesn't make any sense there with the pictures of the sun, though. You got any ideas on that one out there? I know we only got a couple of people watching. Hang on. You've got an itchy ear, where you read the headset. Kind of can be a bit annoying after a couple of hours. You will see many youth who wear their long hair. Well, didn't the Indians have long hair anyway? So, yeah, that one doesn't really make much sense either. I think they're like most predictions, right? They're pretty general, so you can fit anything you want to it. You will hear the sea turning black, and many living things dying because of it. Well, it's not unusual for them to have seen oil bubbling out the ground. And of course, a lot of that also happens under the sea. So they may have seen it happen before in certain areas around the coast, where there might have been earthquakes and oil leaked out through the seams into the ocean. So that's not too far-fetched, that one. Snakes of Iron. So that one sounds like a more modern one, because when did they discover iron? Probably when the Spanish arrived, maybe? I don't think they were metal workers at all. Okay, so they're talking about metal helmets, so that sounds like Spanish, doesn't it? So there was talk about Vikings and also other people making landfall way before Columbus did, even the Egyptians. Again, this is where the Egyptian airships thing comes in, as far as I'm concerned. So where did they come from? So they may not have been there originally. They might have come across there by boats from somewhere else. So yeah, Hopi silver. So they must have discovered gems and gold and mercury, didn't they? They discovered mercury as well. Again, that probably needs to be researched a wee bit more on my behalf to be able to present it. I hadn't had time to look into all this. Hopi mine metals before Spanish. There's that word again, metallurgy. I think that means working with metal, doesn't it? What's the meaning of that word? It's a crazy word. Metallurgy. Metallurgy. Right. Does that work? It's not going to speak. Learn to pronounce. The branch of science and technology concerned with the properties of metals and the production and purification. So there you go. Metallurgical. A domain of material science and engineering that studies the physics and chemical behavior of metallic elements.
Metallurgy is a domain of materials science and engineering that studies the physical and chemical behavior of metallic elements, their intermetallic compounds, and their mixtures, which are called alloys. Metallurgy is used to separate metals from their ore.
Metallurgy. Kind of a strange word, isn't it? English is a mixture of German, French, and all sorts of other languages. Over time, it sort of got bigger and bigger. And yeah, it sort of catches me out here. Religious destroy all ET evidence. Religions. Spain destroyed a lot of the ruins before. Yeah, and pillaged it all, right? And took it back to their own country. Yeah, religion is like a cancer. It destroys a lot of stuff. Destroys people's critical thinking as well, and it's follow what the printed word says or what the churches tell you. Well, that applies to all religions. You got Islamic, and you got also the Christians and Catholics. They all follow certain rules and behaviours and dresses, how to dress up, and all that sort of stuff. How to treat others. Mining silver and gold. So that's probably, obviously they actually must have found gold in the rivers, and sort of maybe like most things, they probably heated up to see what happens with it. You used to get into a bonfire and saw it melted into different shapes, and then probably work out that it could be turned into, because it wouldn't, gold wouldn't be really good at making tools, would it? But it would be good for making headdresses, necklaces and bracelets, that kind of stuff. But they would have found the other metals in time, like copper. They would have probably tried to make clay pots and found that there was copper in it, sort of oozed out when it was heated up. So a lot of things were discovered by mistake or experimentation, right? And that sort of makes sense, that they may have had silver and gold at least. Iron, maybe not. It depends whether they found it in the clay soil and melted enough of it together. It's it takes a bit of a art to smelter an iron, apparently. You have to take a lot of heat, right, to sort of make a big blob of it. I don't know if you've been watching Mountain Men. There's an episode currently playing where the guy goes and collects the rocks that have got iron in it, and he crushes them down and sticks them into this big furnace and mixes it with charcoal and stuff like that. Lots and lots of wood to be able to get enough carbon into the iron to make it decent enough to make it into hard blades, or very sharp blades. So yeah, it's definitely a big science tool, and it's quite interesting though. So we'll just carry on with the Hopi stuff. I saw a couple of things on the site here. Hey, One Life Man, how's it going? I thought you were, I didn't actually notice your name before. I thought it was Katrina, but she may have gone. I'm in the country when Spain conquering the world. They destroyed ancient ruins. Yep. Yeah, they probably destroyed a lot of the South American, right? And of course you got the Romans also. They were conquering mad as well. But then you had the Chinese, they were going to be conquered. And then you got the Russians. And you got the Middle Eastern. So they could conquer probably the weaker countries or the less technical countries. But obviously they managed to find out gunpowder from the Chinese. I think the Chinese would have been the first. And that's the thing with Romans. They conquered and they took the best of the technology they found in these other societies and experimented with it and tried to make it better. Alright, so they got more and more powerful, got the weapons better. They got the napalm stuff they used to fire from catapults that used to cling onto church inside the castles and keep on burning until they gave in. Fire at the wooden door, right? Napalm, and it would just keep on burning. They wouldn't be able to put it out. So yes, quite an interesting story there, though, about the end of the world. Of course, we know if we don't get off planet Earth, it's eventually going to end anyway. That's why we need to get into space and start looking at other planets, right? In case the Earth gets hit by a big meteorite that we don't know is out there, still waiting with our name on it. Because we know it did wipe out the dinosaurs, and it changed the climate of the Earth because it would have put a lot of debris into the atmosphere, and it would have cooled right down, created an ice age. And of course, that means the smaller mammals and sea creatures that could withstand the extreme temperatures, or could live underground and find ways of heating through thermal or burning dead trees or whatever, or peat, could survive.
Stories claim the Ant people drew the Hopi tribe away from the First World, which was destroyed by fire. They are also said to have saved them from the ice destruction of the Second World and the end of the Third World. Paintings show people with elongated skulls, spindly arms and legs, and an ant-like upper body. Many claim the ants resemble modern-day ideas of alien life, and some believe the Hopi tribe have seen UFOs.
Okay, so I'm not sure if it's been on. I'm not sure if it's been on Ancient Aliens at all, but it probably has. I sort of got fed up watching Ancient Aliens. It was too much BS, and I still can't believe they're still going on after 5 seasons. About season 5, it's got terrible. So here we talk about ant people. Were the ancient Indians or futuristic aliens? So they put this thing here. They're called the Anasazi Indians. Sounds like Anunnaki, Egyptian, is the claim, but again, that puts the airship thing I was talking about, where if the Egyptians did have airships, and they were saying Anunnaki when they were introducing themselves, the sky beings, wearing the crazy headdresses, that they must have tried to convert it into, tried to say it in their language and got it slightly wrong. Anunnaki, it sounds very similar to Anunnaki. So there's another possible connection there with my theory. Anyway, we'll just read out this little bit here. See if there's any different to what we just heard there on the UK rag.
The Anasazi Indians are a mysterious group of people that used to dwell in caves in an area now known as the Four Corners during the Archaic period. Anasazi means ancient enemy by the Navajo, who now prefer to call them Ancient Ones. Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and Utah all converge at the Four Corners, and archaeologists have been investigating the homes of the cliff dwellers since its discovery in 1888. Part of this area is in Mseverd National Park, Arizona. Mseverd means green table. Have you read my article on the Grand Canyon and ancient mythology? In the late 13th century, the Anasazi started to build their homes into the cliffs. Archaeologists believe it was for protection and to better defend themselves against enemies. After about only 30 years, during the 14th century, they began to seal the doorways and abandon their cliff homes to never return. The Hopi are their descendants. Hopi means peaceful people or little ones. They are referred to as part of the Pueblo people after the Spanish word for village or town. The Spanish conquistadors discovered the Hopi people in the 1600s.
Yeah, so that's quite interesting. So they're built into caves for defense. So was it defense from Spanish? Could well be, invaders. So if you build it into a cave, that means you only got the front bit to protect the houses, Makes it a bit easier to defend. Without building massive big walls, I guess, like the British used to do with the castles. But could it be that there was also asteroids coming down and hitting the ground around them? Or is it because of the aliens? Hopi means peaceful people. Little ones. Tribe of little ones. Well, they're pretty short people, though, aren't they? Wouldn't they like 5 foot or less. What else we got here? At 500 AD, so definitely there were Vikings and all that trying to cross the sea back then too. So we'll just read out that bit too. It's quite interesting about the ant people. I'm not sure if there's any more pictures. Let's see if there's more pictures. Ant people. Carvings or paintings. What do you call them? Etchings. Drawings. Here we go. Let's see what else we got. That one looks like it's been enhanced. Kind of looks the same one we saw before. Oh yeah, there it is. So someone's drawn around it on the other one we're looking at. Can't see that spiral thing there though that they had drawn. Looks like a hand there. So it looks like someone's modified it. So that changes it a wee bit, doesn't it? When you get people that have licensed to change things. How about this one here? Again, it's very similar to some of those Egyptian headdresses that we saw. I still think there might have been an Egyptian connection. Has one life man gone now because we've only got one watching it, so what's that one there? That's a pretty mess, isn't it? It's hard to make head or tail. That looks like a big foot there, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toes. Looks like 2 feet. The cross, like the Spanish. I don't know. It's very subjective. Make up your own conclusions to what they're meant to represent. They're just trying to say it's ant people, but is it really? I wish there were better drawers. You know, you got Michelangelo used to paint these almost images that look like photographs, and you got this sort of rubbish to deal with. I don't know, looks like it might be another one. So we've got 2 drawings that with the same layout with the big man and the little creatures around it, so that maybe that wasn't modified after all. Obviously 2 different cave paintings. Where was the other one? Up here somewhere. This one here. Looks like 2 different ones, but I could be wrong. So that's all we got on that one.
The Anasazi started living in the area around AD 500, then left to travel south into Arizona and New Mexico, coming back to trade. Evidence shows the Anasazi traded with people as far away as Mexico, and were farmers of corn, beans, and squash. These 3 staples of the Iroquois and Seneca tribes of New York, where I live, are known as gifts from White Buffalo Woman. They are called the 3 sisters in myth, and are known throughout Native American tribes in North America. In hope and legend, the 3 sisters were gifts from Spider Woman, who also taught them how to farm. She also taught them how to weave and make pottery. The hope and believe that we have just entered the 5th world. When evil came into the 3rd world, it was she who brought them to the 4th world. The Hopi agreed to be caretakers in exchange to live there. In every aspect of life, maintaining a balance between nature and people is the hope and way. Their ceremonial celebrations of this balance help ensure their way of life goes on. The creation mythology that spans the different cultures in the world all have almost the same beginnings. Life was created from Earth. I find it fascinating that so many different religions, one not having been physically close in proximity to the other, has the same story. In Hopi mythology, Spider-Woman, who ruled the underworld, and her consort, Tua, the sun god who ruled the sky, used their thoughts to create Earth. Then, Spider-Woman molded animals and humans from clay, spread a blanket that she wove over her creations, and she and Tua sang them to life.
Okay, so it goes a little bit here. Spider-Woman. So, could that be an alien? Another alien creature? Another variation of the mantis? So maybe it's not the ant people, it's the spider people. The tarantula with a wonky foot. So why would that have a wonky foot though? Could have made a mistake, maybe. It's possible. Nazca lines. Were they futuristic aliens? Okay, let's read out that bit. Then I'll get on to some debunking, I think. It's amazing how much time flies when you're looking at this stuff. It would be good to have more side chatters and having their opinions on it or what they know about it as well. But I can do what I can only do.
Were they futuristic aliens? Around the world, the investigation and testing of remote viewing, psychokinesis, telekinesis, and telepathy has gone on for decades. From Germany, to Britain, to the United States, humans are the most curious of Earth's inhabitants. We have many different historically logged, right along with recent reports, violations of another's privacy to prove it. From researching the Inquisition to the witch hunts, we can be a very judgmental, violating species. The internet today is 100% proof of how we have to know everything about another person.
That's very
Plus,
true.
we love to connect with each other. If we didn't, the technology of communications today wouldn't be the way it is. We want to connect, but at the same time, keep a distance. People have become voyeurs. Despite all the troubles it can cause, I think the founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, is a genius. A nosy, extremely wealthy genius, at that. His net worth is just shy of $70 million. It's all because he decided to create a social platform for the millions of other people just like him. The only other way a person can feel so violated is through mind reading. With all the different ways to express an emotion on Facebook, without even being on the same continent as the people who will see it, I think he's getting there. Perhaps it's a good thing he's also a philanthropist. I'm pretty sure the aliens have been ahead of us on the mind-reading curve since life began. Since they haven't destroyed us yet, maybe they're a tad philanthropic themselves.
So yeah, that was kind of hilarious about Mark Zuckerberg being a genius. Basically, he stole the code from some other people apparently, but there was some rumors that the government helped him get the code, and so it could set up a social network for CIA to use, which isn't so far-fetched. You get enough people joining it, and you can, especially in universities where the radicals were, you can keep an eye on what's being talked about. Social control, as they call it. So this person obviously uses Facebook, and I'm not too sure how old they are. But yeah, they need to learn more technology, understand how it's all working together. So we'll move on to the next bit. This one here about the UFO sucking up water is quite good, so I'll see if I can get time to get to that. But we'll have a look at this one here. Paranormal investigators chase blue humanoid creature with glowing skull before it disappears into thin air. Okay, so looks like it's stuffed up here. That's not it. I reload the page. I'll just play the video. Where is it? Is it YouTube? No. So own thing here. So what do you think this is? It just misses a truck and then looks like it went under the truck there. And it's still floating. Another truck got it. And then wonder why it disappeared. I think it's disappeared after there. I think it's got crushed. These guys knew exactly what it was, and I'll go over it. That was pretty clear footage there. There we go. So what I did is I took a screen grab of that, of one frame anyway, and there it is there. Although it's not as good quality as the original, and I still managed to pull out details. So I enhanced it here, and I could see that there was a heart shape that direction there and a heart shape around here, and looks like maybe another little balloon, maybe a third one that had actually popped. So it's one of these looks like one of these clear heart balloons with some extra blue lights in it rather than various color lights. It looks very blue. As you can see, that would look very much similar to that. You can see the connections here to what looks like maybe 1, 2, 3 helium balloons. And what's happened is obviously these are deflated because you can see they're not very defined, and they're sort of dragging along and looks like feet. Looks like it's walking along, but these are just blowing back and forth in the wind, and obviously these are too heavy now to be up in the air, so they sort of come down and just get blown around with the wind current of the traffic. So these guys probably filming it knew it was helium balloons with LED lights in it. So yes, quite an interesting video, but they had some experts from a show called Strange Evidence. They couldn't work it out. They were thinking it was a robot. But yeah, as you can see here on the footage, especially when you zoom in, you can see how it's like floating. And of course, when it gets hit by the truck, it gets slipped underneath, comes up again, gets hit by the second truck. At that stage, I think it gets flattened. That's why it disappears, right? It's no longer there. That's because it got crushed. It must have popped all the balloons. Of Of course, if it was something solid, it would have made a hell of a mess on the truck, and the truck would have stopped. So this again is from Peru, South America, who obviously a lot of them fake UFO footage, right? Paranormal investigator, yeah. So let's just read out what they're saying here. Unfortunately, my throat is gone again. Come on. I can't seem to scroll it. Too many damn ads in it, I think. Here we go. Got it this time.
A paranormal investigator claims he has captured footage of an alien humanoid with a large, glowing blue head levitating across a motorway. Anthony Choi, who has been investigating UFO sightings for 25 years, says he and his crew chased the being after it appeared outside a petrol station in Pachacamac, Peru on August the 22nd. According to Choi and his witnesses, the creature was about half a meter tall, with red eyes and a head the size of a pumpkin. It emitted blue glowing lights from its dome-like skull.
Okay, does it really look like a critter? A balloon critter, helium balloon lit from inside with LEDs. I reckon they probably fabricated that. They probably would have got it just right. I reckon. They may have blown up the balloons for the heart shape and put some water in them, so that sort of made them heavy. But who knows, it may have come drifting down from a party somewhere, because one of the balloons popped underneath, and these ones got deflated a wee bit, and the ones at the top here holding it up. But I'm surprised they couldn't see that the way I saw it. Choi sounds like Asian, isn't it? Choi.
When it ran into the motorway, Choi claimed the being was hit by a speeding truck, but disappeared at the point of contact and rematerialized in the road after it had passed. Choi says he believes that moment proves the alien must be capable of teleportation in order to avoid certain death. Blurry footage taken by the investigators does indeed appear to show a strange blue form walking towards the motorway, before vanishing just as a lorry hits it.
Duh. So I've explained it and told you what exactly it is. Just balloons moving back and forth like its legs moving. But it is good footage. It's quite interesting footage, actually. Just watch it again for once. You can actually get squid balloons as well, by the way, with LEDs. But I thought it was going to be a squid balloon, but when I looked at it closely, I could see it was a bunch of balloons at the top and heart-shaped balloons underneath. And they're sort of angled towards us, so you don't actually see the full shape of it. So wouldn't they go up to where it was on the other side of the road, just to see? I bet they would have seen it squashed onto the road there. Bang, you see here it pops up again. Bang, and it would have been crushed onto the road. Or it would have turned off the lights inside for sure. It would have crushed the cables or whatever that lights the LED. But anyway, moving on. This one's a bit more interesting. And this one I'm not too sure on. So we'll just read it out from Lee Spiegel here from 2017. I remember this guy coming to me and showing me this, and I said, can I get hold of the original videos? And he said he lost it, and the only ones are online. I guess it's these ones here from 2013 October, and now it's only sort of been mentioned here in 2017, so just see what he says first before I read it out.
Every month, numerous UFO videos are posted on YouTube by people all over the world, hoping to prove they have that smoking gun evidence that we are being visited by a spacecraft. Some are obvious hoaxes. Some turn out to be balloons, weather anomalies or other mundane objects that just look otherworldly. And then there are those that can never really be explained away.
And this could be one of them.
In October, one of the more interesting videos came from a Michigan man who claimed to capture UFOs on 2 occasions with his home security camera. The videos are quite vivid, depicting the strange objects continually changing colors and reportedly shining a beam of light to the ground. The man, who goes by the YouTube moniker JCattera, posted, on October the 8th, his first UFO video that he recorded on October the 2nd. In this first video, JCattera's UFO appears at around 1:12.
So let's hopefully play it. Can we open it up? What's up, Cam? I'll open it up separately, I think. Oh no, oh yeah, I might do. Let's see, click on that. Oh. Yeah. Make sure that one stopped. Okay, let's slow it down a wee bit. 75. So this is security camera. Looks like it's got sound as well, which is interesting. We've got autoplay, have we? Oh, no. Okay. Oh, what's happened? What did I do? How do I get that back? Great. After me getting all set up. 75. Okay, let's watch it from there. It's very dark. First thing I do is play around with that in editor. Can you hear anything in the background? How's the sound going through? It's pretty low. Still nothing hearing. I can hear like a noise. I can hear crickets. I can hear what sounds like a jet engine or something. Or wind of some sort. Almost sounds like the sea. I think I can hear some fake talking in the background there. Like there's people there. Oh, here we go. So when I see this, I always think of something on the lens of the camera that's reflecting it. RO light. So I just heard a dog woofing then. So what's this coming down here? Is that lens flare or what? Okay, it looks like it's sucking up water here. Or it's dropping water and the light's reflecting off it. It's funny how the dog started woofing. Then we see little bits drop off. And we can still see water. It's going to be over a lake or something. Or a pond, as they call it. And does it come back again? It's quite a long video, isn't it? The interesting thing is the dog stopped woofing. So if it's a long video here, they may have chopped it up, slowed it down or something, which is what I've already done. Does anything else happen? About 4 minutes. Is that cars on the road in the background? What is that noise? Sometimes the audio gives us a lot more clues what's going on. So if that was a UFO sucking up water or dropping water, it's a bit hard to know. Could it be faked? Sure it could. So it kind of looked like a drone hovering with LED lights blinking from white to blue to red, I think it was. Could it be dropping water from a remote control water bottle on the drone? Yes, it could, to make a fake video. It's very possible. It's possible that someone could have done it to fake it on the guy's security camera. He may not have been part of the pranking or the what do you call it, hoaxing. So well, it looks like there wasn't any more to that. So we'll just keep looking at it again. Still normal speed, so it must come back again. So look, see the angle here? It looks like a drone moving that direction on an angle. See, it was kind of blinking that colours that you'd get on one of those Chinese drones with the LED lights. And there's the dog's woofing again. But I don't think it was picking up any water there. Looks like it just flew back around. Well, it wasn't dropping water. But that's quite interesting because it's very relative to the Mojo video that we saw, where he claims the UFO was hovering 1 foot above the swampy waterway, and it sounded like it was had suction pump going. It sounded like it was sucking up water. But a lot of people said that was just maybe fire trucks, but refilling the tanks. But he said it was at the back of his property, right? So why would the fire trucks be in the back of his property? And if he put up a video of them in the fire trucks, why didn't they come forward and say it was them, you know? Because he would have to give permission to go there and suck up the water. So yeah, maybe it was a real UFO event. People can dismiss it all they like, of course. I suppose that's really it. Or does it fly back again? Oh, here it goes. Comes up in a minute. Or is it repeating? No, it still says normal there. Still coming down, looks like on an angle. Which you do with drones. So as a UFO, you'd expect it to be zooming straight down, but not on an angle. I still think it might be a drone that's been used to prank the guy with his security camera. Looks like it's early in the morning, is it? So have we got time on it? And time. Can't see a timestamp. Now it's just hovering there, right? Is there a timestamp in here? 5 in the morning. Yeah, that looks like 5 in the morning. I'll just pause it there. What does he say here? This is... I'll just read it out. My throat's gone, unfortunately, guys, so you have to put up with the reader. Did some investigating outside. So we might have a look at those other things to see if they're still working.
This is my home security camera footage. At 2:01, I found something very interesting. The object disappears into the sky just before a car comes down the road. Then at 4:03, it comes back. Also, at 4:43, there are 2 dogs barking together, but the dog with a deeper bark suddenly stops barking, but I never thought to check that dog to see if it's missing. At 4:58, I think I can hear another car driving down the road, but once it's gone the object reappears again. I did some investigating outside around the area also. Take a look.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Fade off the trees during the day. Okay, let's see if we can open that up. Hey, Renee. How's it going? Yeah. So, there's a daytime thing, and that's... Is that a lake? No, it can't be a lake. Looked like it was over a waterway. I'm a wee bit confused. It looked like it's over a lake. And we need some Google Earth coordinates, really, don't we? Home security. It says around 11 PM here. Okay? Why does it say 5 up the top here? 4 in the morning. 11 PM. Captured this footage from my home security camera around 11 PM. Front yard, and I'm about 8 miles north of the National Air Guard base. Sorry, I can't provide any more details. Don't want my neighbours to get upset. Why is the security camera using colour instead of black and white? Most security cameras change to black and white at night because my camera has the option of using either black and white with infrared or colour at night. I choose to use colour for night. In this instant, because most fireballs captured on video camera look better. So he's got one of those early Sony Starlight cameras, probably low light cameras that can do colour night vision. You can see yellows, green, blue. Yep. Which security camera was used? According for one of my multiple cameras installed on the front house. 300 foot A house is set 300 foot back from the road. So that's that noise we're hearing in the background. Why did you disable your night vision? He's already explained that with the color night vision. 15 frames per second. Why did you slow down the video? I didn't slow down. Runs at a slower frame rate. Yep. Well, glitchy anyway. Why no music? Did you look at the area where the UFO was? They reckon it's beaming a laser down, but I don't think it was. But maybe it did. Drop in water and the laser was lighting up the water. Did it leave any residue? Do I meditate for these objects? No, I don't. UFO appears to be scanning the ground. The being can be seen. I thought it was water droplets myself. I thought it was over a lake, but it's a bit hard to tell. Still think it can be fabricated though. What's the other one he's got here? The link. I'll just open that one up. I think that's all we're going to have time for it today, actually. Time's getting on. So what have we got here? He's merged his picture in. So obviously it's not over a lake then. Kind of weird. Looks like the same video though. Okay, that's the bit we want to look. Where it was seen. So trees and grassy area. Down, down, down we want to see what's down on the ground. So could it have been leaves dropping rather than water? That kind of makes sense. If the drone was creating a gust of wind, it may have been knocking off dead leaves off the trees, and the light was being reflected off the leaves. That makes more sense now. What looked like water droplets wasn't. I think we have our answers. I think it was just a drone. And maybe the car driving past was the people that owned it. And were controlling it from a remote control from the car. So here we go. That makes sense. So it's blown, it's got a gust of wind coming down. And they may have put a laser pointer underneath here, going downwards, and the leaves were dropping off the tree, and we're seeing the leaves drop on the ground here and being lit up. That's what it was. Makes sense now. So what have we got? Any more footage here? There's the laser pointer. What's that say? Increased playback speed. Yeah, it definitely was going faster. It's actually more interesting seeing the slowed down footage. Okay, where's the... Okay, so just like the beam of light hitting the branches there, so we're seeing the edge of the trees. It's clipping the edge of the trees. I think it's just a drone with a down-facing laser light of some sort. It flies too much like a drone because of the angle. That's my reason for it. So we only had a small bit there with the... Let's go back to it again. Catching the edge of the tree. That's lens flare. Here we go. Still think might be leaves falling off the tree there as well. So yeah, it shows how misleading it can be. It's definitely lighting up the tree edges there. What look like water dropping down, reflecting light, or water being sucked up, is actually just the light shining off the branches and some leaves maybe falling off. So why didn't the guy send it to MUFON, is the question. Or did he? I don't remember seeing a MUFON case number. Quite a suspect, I think. So what's any experts? Did any experts have a look at it? Ben Hansen. So let's see what they say here. FBI agent. I don't think he's always correct though. We got another video here. Enhanced, brightened. So we'll have a look at that one next. Special agent. I didn't select it all. Come on.
Huffington Post was intrigued with the vivid changing colors and smooth, almost acrobatic movements of the UFO, so we showed the video to former FBI Special Agent Ben Hansen to get his take on it. I'm really on the fence with this one. It could definitely be hoaxed, Hansen told HuffPost in an email. I'm not liking the very flat two-dimensionality of the light. At no time does it pass behind trees that are apparently close to the camera. It conveniently stops right before it would need to pass behind them. The green light looks projected like an overlay of some sort of a video filming a pane of glass with lights on it. Hansen also said he had problems with the camera's exposure settings. I would expect the focus to go in and out as it compensates for lighting. This would also affect how much of the ambient surroundings you'd see, but the tree outlines on horizon never change and get brighter or dimmer when the light pulsates and gets brighter. As if that weren't enough, the same individual, JCattera, claims to have videotaped the same UFO 10 days later.
So Ben Hansen's wrong here. Because it's the new Sony sensors here, it doesn't have to compensate for the lighting at all. So he's not familiar with the new technology of the sensors because it's the color night vision one, which is so he's talking about an overlay, but you could see it was 3-dimensional. Come on, the green light seems to be projected. Yeah, it's just a simple drone, mate, with LEDs on it with a laser pointing downwards. Come on. And you can see it was on the front of the trees and it was reflected off the branches there. So what else is he saying here? So this is where I don't always agree with the debunkers. I can find faults in their arguments. I don't know why they think if you're FBI that you got to be the best video analysis guy under the sun. He's not. Did they give it to Mark D'Antonia? He might have a different take on it.
This is probably the best close encounter of the second kind, where a UFO interacts with the environment, I've ever seen, and the video evidence from this footage will probably put any doubters to rest from the first video, he wrote on YouTube. This amazing footage was captured on my home security camera on October the 12th, 2013 at approximately 2:15 a.m. Take a close look at the Orbit 225 as it appears to be drawing the water up from the pond, said JCattera.
Okay, so he's talking about a pond, but we didn't see no pond. Because he did a daylight thing, so what's going on here? Is it 2 different days? It's October the 1st. What was the other one? So it's 10 days later, is it? But when he went outside, there was no pond. Did you see any pond there? I didn't see any pond in the daytime footage. But I still don't think it was water now. I still think it was leaves or edge of the branches. Okay, let's have a watch of the second one. Let's open it up. Slow it down a bit. See if it's really similar to the first one. But I thought the other one was the same day. Huh? Seems very similar, doesn't it? So one's at 11 and the other one's at 5, is it? So what does it say here? 2 a.m. this one. Gets more and more confusing. We need the guy to come on and talk about it, don't we? He's still out there. The second sighting, glowing orb. First sighting, October the 2nd, so he's put it there to clarify it. This is a view from my backyard. Okay, wasn't the first one in the front yard? Okay, what's this one doing? I think the other one was the front yard. Where is it? Does he say? That side. Can't see the front yard mentioned now. I can't see any lake in this. Looks like a footpath going around, trees. Unless the lake's where he's standing. It's very strange. There you go, you can see the light beaming downwards, it's right on the top of the trees there. You can see it's on an angle here saying you'd get for a drone. Then it hovers. And you're picking up the tree edges here. Again. Looks too small to be a big UFO, doesn't it? So should be able to work out if it was submitted to MUFON the distance, and you could work out the size of the actual object. Clearly it looks like bowling ball size to me, or smaller. we get some sucking up happening or not, as they claim. There, you can see it right on the edge of the tree there. Edge of the tree. It kind of looks like water dropping down, but it's actually just because the light's changing angle. Getting some lens flare again. Blue, red, green. It's only LED colours. Getting lens flare happening. So where's the pond? So you can see it's changing the colour at regular intervals here, like every 1 second. Same as a Christmas tree. Programmed. Well, it didn't look like it did anything apart from hover. Yeah, it sort of looks like it changed angle there before it took upwards. Maybe. But it's a bit hard to tell because of the long exposure. No, it's definitely legit footage. I don't think it's CGI or anything like the enhancement I was talking about. So where's the enhancement? I was looking for the enhancement. Don't see any water being sucked up. Oh, here we go. Is it sucking up water or is it just tree leaves again? Yeah, it's hitting the edge of the tree there. I think it's just lighting up the tree trunk there. And this lights in the distance between the trees. And if you're picking up any sound in the background, it's my mother being stupid. With the dog. Oh, here we go. Let's have a closer look at this one. Is it the trees? Looks like a tree. There we go. Come on. Yeah, it does look slightly different though. If it was sucking up water, we'd expect to see it be going all the way up here though. To me it looks like, again, edge of the tree. Trunk there maybe. You'd have to superimpose it over a daylight snap and try and work it out three-dimensionally. That's why you need to submit it to proper people like myself. I need to get the daylight footage. That's why you have MUFON. Investigators go there, they start filming it, taking snapshots and lining it up on various frames from the video. That's probably the easiest. And see if it's actually water and not actually just the edge of a tree that's being lit up at the bottom with the some of the leaves of the tree falling down. Gives it an effect like it's water droplets. I don't know, guys. It's the best I can do with that one without getting hold of the actual video in question. Some UFO bulls caught on tape during. So that's probably some other videos that people have sent in bollocks of it. So it's has been terminated. Obviously, a bit of a hoaxer, huh? Okay. Or putting up other people's content without doing any analysis on it, maybe. What's this one here? That's the first one again. So, nothing more we can add to it then. But, yeah, I don't see a pond. Why hasn't he taken more pictures? So what's Ben Hansen got to say? But the image that was there before looked different. If I reload the page again, it had like a brightened version so we could see what's there. Actually, we could take some slides from it, couldn't we? And do it ourselves, maybe. Where's the orb doing it? See if we can brighten it. But I gotta get going soon. Okay. I was hoping to do some MUFON stuff, but everything else is taking time. Go away. And there it is at the bottom. So we've got the line going for it, but that's alright. Let's see what we can see there anyway. Okay, we'll try brighten it first. Had it been before? What happened? There we go. Can we see any lake? It's not very good. Still looks like a tree there, doesn't it? Tree. Looks like the bottom of the tree with the thing. I don't think it's anything to do with water. Still looks like a tree. Not a lake. I think we're being conned by this guy. A con artist. Okay, let's just reload that page again. What's going on? So that's his Brighton image, you see. Gang, it looks like trees there. Definitely lighten up a tree, edge of a tree. So why didn't he take a snapshot of the the angle of where the security camera is, and then do a pan up and down? So it's kind of suspicious to me. So Ben Hanson's a wee bit suspicious. Ben Hanson reckons it's too perfect, which might be true. If it's a drone with some lights on it.
I find it a bit too perfect that so much of the action takes place directly in the frame, a sign which may indicate a staged event, Hansen suggested. In both of these videos, we see no changes in the brightness of the ambient surroundings or skyline. The orb stays in focus as if the camera never had to adjust. This could indicate the orb was actually added with post-production software and overlaid on top of the nighttime scene. JCattera was planning to set up more cameras, hoping to get better footage. We'll see what he comes up with.
Was planning to set up more cameras. Yeah, I don't think we've got anything else since, 12th of October. So it never come back. Maybe. We'll just have to go to his YouTube channel and just check that. But maybe I should download it from YouTube next time, maybe, and see if I can do a frame-by-frame enhancement of the whole area so we can see what's actually going on. I can't do that today, but that looks like another weekend project, so we might come back to this one. I think it needs more work done on it. So have we only got those two? Here we go. Saying you've seen in Cleveland. So it looks like it didn't come back with more cameras anyway, did he? Okay. So it looks like he's got a few videos up there, going back 8 years. Not as many as me. Mostly news reports. Not too suspicious. So I don't think he's a hoaxer as such. Looking at that. So what's this one here? Why is it not opening? Oh, here we go. Shaky camera. I think I was a bit nervous. So he's caught another one. Not off the security cameras this time. That's a bit suspect, doesn't it? Hey, what are we looking at here? So could this one be where he gets nailed as a hoaxer? Because hoaxers always go overboard and actually get caught out, don't they? So, that looks just like a reflection of something. And he's just moving the camera around. Okay, could be a drone, and the shakiness there is his hand movement. Could be anything really. We haven't got enough lighting on that one either. Let's see what's there. Let's see if we can do a screen grab of it. I don't know, this guy is a wee bit suspect. But I don't think he's using anything like CGI like Ben Hansen was talking about. They're easy to fake with drones. Come on. Over time. Not that anyone's watching out there. Alright. Okay, let's open it up. So what are we looking at here? Looks like trees in the background, is it? Looks like an outline of trees there. This looks like a small craft, like a drone with a bright light on it. I think this guy's obviously, if he's outside filming this, he knows it's a drone. I think he contacted me on my Twitter account years ago. I said, have a look at this, and I told him I think it's just a normal drone, either that's dropping some water or something. At the time, I didn't really, because the video he showed me was on Twitter, wasn't as good as these. And of course, I've got a wee bit more experience now. So to me, that looks like it's trees in the background. Let's just try color flip. So you can turn some of the blacks into other colors. But I think we're going to need to do it by frame analysis again. Still looks like outlines of trees there, and it's flying pretty low to the ground. So what happens to it? Does he stop filming it? Because that's kind of suspicious. Or does the light simply go out? So let's just keep going. Oh look, it's changed shape. Could it be a reflection of a ceiling light through of a like an open door on an angle? And he's just filming on standing outside in the wind to make it sound like it's outside. And it's reflecting a light, ceiling light. So let's grab that one. Do I see a shadow? A bit hard to tell. It's like he's got the camera set on the wrong exposure settings, hasn't he? On purpose. So you only see it as a bright light. The whole thing's suspicious, that one. But the other one needs to be downloaded and ripped into individual frames so we can actually look at it properly. Is that the one? Okay, let's see what we can see here. Again, it's a bit hard to tell. It could be a ceiling light, couldn't it? That would explain why we can't hear the drone noises. You'd have to be far away from it not to hear the drone noise with that wind going, I think. This one's definitely got to be reflection. Because if that was a drone flying around like the last one, you'd expect it to be highlighting some of the light being hitting some of the trees behind it and also on the ground. It does look like something's still in the background there. We'll try contrast. Does look like a bulb there though. I think he's a hoaxer. Hoaxy. Okay, let's zoom right into it. There we go. Bit grainy. But does it look like a rim of a ceiling light going around with a little dome underneath? Because it's backwards to a UFO should be, shouldn't it? ceiling light reflection. So if you got double doors to your house, I don't know what his house looked like because he hasn't sent us a picture in the previous videos, right? We got glass, what do you call them, porch tours. So we can get it something like this here. And you just open up the door, and you just obviously this one's got a brick wall here, but you could have one that opens up the door this direction where it looks over to the yard with the trees, and the light and the ceilings this side reflecting off the door coming this side, if that makes sense. And here's one that folds out, which is quite good for doing fakes. You pull that one slightly out too. And these are the doors I was thinking about, but open up the other direction to the outside, like that one there. Look, perfect. Get the ceiling light from the kitchen, and then you got your nice yard out the side here, like this one here, but it hasn't got the right doors. They got sliding doors. The ones that bend outwards make for the right angle, like this here. So there you go. Definitely we could see some trees in the background, but these ones are too close. So yeah, guys, I might have to leave it there now. You got the links to his YouTube channel there through the HuffPost, as it's called. So you didn't get... Well, you got a few views on it. He's got that many subscribers, and I've only got... So how long has this guy been going? Let's do some checks on him. It's amazing how many people, these people, once they get this stuff put in newspapers, seem to get a lot of subs. Because you don't through YouTube, obviously, they suppress it. So he's been going from 2007, so that means anyone that had a channel before 2014 didn't lose their ads. And look, he's had almost 2 million views. So in 3 years, I've only had 90,000 views on all my videos I've made. So let's plug this guy into Social Blade. Let's see if it even comes up. If we had his full name, maybe. Hope so. That's what you do. Same one you do with all channels. There we go. Something's coming up here. Don't waste your time. So maybe we won't waste our time on his video after all then. Mr. Enigma. There you go, someone's listed him. Where's the list from? Who made the list? By Ed Dodoro, whatever his name is. 2014. Okay, he's got a few of the names that I've talked about previously. Street Cat 1. Surprised he hasn't got security. Oh, you see it. Security. Mr. Enigma. Okay, so obviously he's been flagged as a hoaxer. But I don't think he did it with CGI, he did it with a drone. and the other one with a reflection of a ceiling light. Like I said, they always get found out in the end, these people. So what else we got? What do we got here? Sort of bad information and intentional hoaxing. So this is above top secret. He's even on there. So there must be other videos that he's done really bad that we didn't have a look at there, obviously. Where's his name mentioned though? Find. Hey Reno, you're still here. What are you saying? What's up? Did you just wake up or you just returned? Yeah, we're still looking at this J, whatever his name was. That one there. What's his name? JCattera. Kind of strange name. JCattera. There we go. Below is a link to a YouTube video that I think debunks the Nibiru scare of the 7th December, which was started by a gentleman called JCattera on YouTube, who still claims that the footage was taken by Soho and not SDO, who is actively deleting people's comments and blocking them. He's supposedly spreading lies and fear-mongering. Okay, so that's probably why he blocked me as well. Because I was on to him. He didn't con me. So what's these ones with the sun then? Just reduce it down.
Let the bodies hit.
No. Well, it's not by him here. I ain't got time to watch that. What's the other one? He's deleted it, so he got found out, did he? Okay, so what else we got on him? The Awakening. There he is again. By Hoax Alien Attack coming. Hoax Killer. Okay. Let's have a look at that one. The Golden Lights. Yep. Secure team lights those skydivers. UFO in Homestead. That's what we just looked at, was it? Night jumpers. Oh, here we go. Triangle UFO. So he's been filming other stuff, eh? And here's the exact same footage from 2 years ago. So he's a resubmitter and repackages. Oh, shame it got deleted though. Here's the response made as JCattera has deleted all the posts pertaining to lost satellites. Also blocked me. Made sure not to mention my name or use any of his footage of my video. It's not much, but I thought I know that out there My video isn't much. Well, you got a lot of publicity from HuffPost then. Another guy that keeps putting up garbage like that is UFO Man. Well, while we're looking at him, so I don't think I will bother with that footage anymore, because I'll just disprove it that it's a drone, exactly a drone lighting up a tree or whatever. Obviously, this guy is a fraud, and it looks like he's deleted a lot more videos than he's got up. I was just going to look up his social blade though before I do that. Okay, Renee, you're the only one chatting on the side at the moment. YouTube keeps taking away my subs at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on. So what's social blade? And we want to look at how this guy managed to get 2 million views, because those few videos, something's gone on. $2 million views almost. So many subscribers, so obviously he's suckered in a few there. And only 32 uploads, which don't sound right. So that would have made him, let's see, if you put 3 ads on a 10-minute video, or just times it by 3 maybe, would have made him about $6,000, was it? So, give or take ad blocker, of course, so it could be like $3,000 US, still not too bad. But it looks like people have cottoned onto him being a hoaxer, right? They're starting to unsub according to those stats. Unfortunately, you can't go back far enough here. But we can look at this here. The subs definitely leaving, and then a few more joined, and then he did put something else up. That would have been that famous orb video that we looked at. Then people cottoned on that he was actually a hoaxer with some more footage of that ceiling light. So we got a few more and more leaving. So yeah, it looks like it's on the down trend. Same here. That's what happens. Eventually you get found out. That's what's happened with Secure Team as well. Google have killed his channel. And he's got upset because he's not making the $1,000 a day that he used to, or more. Yep, so this guy is another fraud. Ben Hansen was slightly right that it was suspect. Definitely was. Compared to Mojo's footage, I think it's Mojo's is way more believable, and if he hoaxed it, he did a lot better job at it. With latex masks and light and all that sort of stuff. But I couldn't, like this one, work it out as well. So the other one is UFO Man put up something too. He's Mr. Allegedly UFO Man. Allegedly UFO Man. He's a joke. Probably have to spell it to give us up. Here he is. The allegedly UFO guy. He looks like Mike Moore every day. Let's see, we just go into his videos. This guy's built his channel up basically asking people for their videos and joining it together with some crazy ass music. This is the latest one that he put up, well, yesterday anyway. So we're just going through it. Oh. So this is a roadway of Baja. As you know, there's a lot of military exercises that happen there with flares. And are we looking over at the sea or into the sky? It's a bit hard to tell from the background here. But because there's no analysis done on this particular video either, it's hard to tell. No GPS location. But to me, that looks like it's like a plane that's done a loop, gone around like that and dropped illumination flares. And some have gone out, or some were dropped here. Planes done circle here, dropped around a few more that are close together. Then drop one here at the end, that's why there's a gap. Or it's come around this way, drop one there, and then gone around and then taken back off. It could be like one of those exercises they do with border control, you know, with drug pirates coming in, where they want to light up the sea underneath. So it might be the parachute flares are coming down, lighting up the sea, and so they can sort of arrest the submarine or whatever it is that's bringing in drugs from the coast. But yeah, it's a bit hard to tell whether it's over the sea or not. Gang, you'd have to do a screen grab of that one and lighten it. The footage doesn't get any better. Right, see how the last one's now gone out here, which is typical of military flares. And we know if it's still lights in the sky after 20 minutes, that rules out it being flares, right? So let's carry on to the next one. Then I'll find that other one I was going to look for. This one here, I think, is just a speck on the window of the car. Just play a clip on it.
Hovering here silently above the mountains, somewhere near Ehrenberg, Arizona, off the I-10 going east back to Phoenix from Los Angeles. Little black speck hanging
on the windowsill screen of the car.
Motionless, absolutely motionless in the clouds. Not moving at all. And I accidentally took a wrong turn down this road instead of going back on the 10 because I got confused from the signs, but there it is, just hovering there. Motion.
So, to me, it looks like a speck on the window. Guy might be hoaxing, but it also could be. It looks like one of those solar tube balloons. In calm air on that one. Solar tube balloon. Well, not a tube one. I'll just type solar balloon in. You can get in different shapes. Depends who makes them, because they're made out of rubbish bags. You get the triangle ones, so it could be something like that. It's a bit hard to tell. Not the best camera footage, but you can see, you can hear that he's in the car, right? So it's kind of suspicious. You can hear kids in the background. Or he's inside the house filming through a window.
Not even the clouds are moving, which is really kind of strange. There it is, just hovering there.
Have we seen that one before? Is that the one we just debunked? I think it might have been, you know? I don't know. don't know, a little bit of footage, but that gang looks like a ceiling light, doesn't it? Going a ceiling light reflecting off a window with a door open. I reckon it's the same damn footage. Is it from the same guy? It would be funny because I just chose this one randomly. It doesn't quite sound like the same guy. It's amazing how many people like to do the ceiling light thing. No, that's the skydivers, isn't it? That's what it is. It's the skydivers joined together. It's not the same guy, after all. Skydivers then separate. Terrible, terrible. Yeah, can we see the shape in this black one? Go back to it. It's a bit hard to tell, and it's out of focus, and so it could easily be one of these triangle ones that has deflated a bit and you can't see the corners. But anyway, moving on. I don't think any of those are actually real UFOs anyway. But this is the sort of rubbish this guy puts up. Note analysis, just joins them in together in the editor. Generally puts some crazy music on it. Where's the one I was looking for? He may have deleted it. He deletes a lot of the videos that he puts up after they don't get ads on it. Dark object. Well, that looks like a banner plane being black sign with some white writing on it. Triangle craft. We won't go into that one. We'll be here all day going through all these, debunking them as man-made or natural. Where's the light in the sky one? I think he may have deleted it. That's the one I wanted to show you. From Oxford. Which was just the train light in the sky. Has he... Large black object drops? No. Probably have to get going now, I think. Vehicle. California. Triangle. I think he's deleted it. Looks like he's deleted it. But it was just like a light off the clouds, and it was the laser train. Like I said, he deletes a lot of stuff that he puts up. I don't know why he bothers. He should just go away. Laser train, Oxford. Probably have to put UFO in. Oxford, sure. UFO. Oop. Let's do that. This one, where it beams up the blue light into the sky, where it measures water droplets in the air and stuff. But some of them don't actually look like the blue colour here. You get a washed out white colour. Like that there. And these ones here, the same train. I think he's deleted it. Hang on, let me just see if I can find it. Just double check. Alleged fast blue and silver light filmed in Oxfordshire. So this is it. I think it's deleted though. Let's see if it works. I've got a thumbnail of it, you see. I might be able to cut and paste it and show you. Let's see if he's deleted it. Yes, he deleted it. Once he lost ads on it, probably. Or people called him out on it. How can I get a copy off the screen grab? Just close that down. Where's it not going? Okay. I'll have to see if I can screen grab it on the other screen. There it comes. At least I can show you the thumbnail of it. You can see it's the same thing. There you go, got a screen grab of it now. You can see here, you can see the beam going up from the train, but it's further away and it looks more white. So he had a video up of that, and it was going along the sky that direction there. So yeah, there you go. But I might just wrap up now. I think I've covered enough for today anyway. Not let anyone watch this apart from Renee. Hope you're learning lots. Stay away from this guy. He's just the bad news. He's just trying to replicate security. And he gets money from people watching. As you can see, he gets lots of views, unlike I do. And he's got 30,000 subscribers because he puts up rubbish like this, and all the believers out there just suck it up. So I should probably start my own blacklist. So yeah, I don't think I will bother with this guy again. Too many people have flagged him. So obviously he hoaxed this one with a drone, just like I said he did. Close tab. So yeah guys, thanks for joining us, and the next one will be probably Saturday with Robert again, and we've got a couple more old UFO cases to do. Plus I've got to find those missing bits I couldn't get on the last stream. I don't know if you've watched my last old UFO cases with the 2 abduction cases, but the New York one, there was a lot of crazy information that I didn't know about on that one, so a good chance that you haven't heard it as well, so go and have a listen to it. Robert found some information there and videos from Bob Hopkins that we played, and we talked about it. So yes, just zoom to probably 1 hour 40 minutes, and you can see the New York case, which is a bit more interesting than the first one about the crazy woman with the aliens with boots on. So yeah, and we'll just carry on with more debunking on Mondays now, which will be American Sundays. I was hoping more people were going to join us. Obviously, my channel's not really well broadcast by Google. I think they're doing something because my traffic has halved, and every day now I'm only getting half the views of that. So yeah, well, it won't stop me doing it. I will always be on other places like BitChute. Me and Robert will go through probably lots and lots of cases. There's lots and lots to talk about still. So I'll say good night and have a good weekend and be safe on the roads, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Good night, and please like and share.